This is 101 Smith. Now let's mosey down into this review of Arts Kai Cloud Strife from the yet released Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Get back here!
With the game not being released until 2018 or later, Square Enix has already decided to release material and products for Final Fantasy VII Remake. One of this being the Cloud Strife figure that you see right here. Now there have been dozens of different Cloud figures spanning original Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core, Advent Children, Dissidia, pretty much any variation of Cloud that there's ever been, there's probably been a figure of it, because Cloud is essentially the most popular character from Final Fantasy in the entire franchise, and is one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, which I admit. Going into this, I've already have Advent Children Cloud, and I thought getting that last year was already the best Cloud Strife figure that was out there, but apparently this can be matched? I'm not too sure. I've always wanted a design based on the more toned-down version of Cloud's design from Final Fantasy VII, but more modernized because, let's admit it, Final Fantasy VII is 20 years old and looks very cartoonish, despite having a very great story. So I'm happy with this release, and I want to see what we have in the box. So let me open it up and see if this is the greatest Cloud figure that's out there today. Looking at the door of the box, and you get to see a beautiful representation of Cloud in the figure doing a limit break. As well, in the insert, you get a story about the world of Final Fantasy and Cloud Strife as a character. And on the other side, you get to see a nice window of Cloud and a silhouette of the Buster Sword. And now we have the figure right in front of us. Now, honestly, we only have the trailer to go as a reference to this Cloud figure, but overall, I'll definitely say that this is probably the sharpest Cloud figure that's out there today. The uniform is definitely based on more of the Crisis Core, not original Final Fantasy VII, with the dark boots and dark blue soldier attire reminiscent of Zack Fair. Definitely took its influence from Crisis Core. As well as you get to see sharp figures of Cloud's hair, with great attention put into details such as stitching and seam lines onto the pants, as well as his shoulder pads having cracks and the bolts being its own color, with his belt hilt having a slight tinge of brown to the original. Now let's look at some articulation. The head can go up and down, and twist side to side due to having a ball joint in the neck, and turn 360 degrees with no problem. The arm can go about this high and twist front and back, but no 360 rotation, and a single joint on the knee and wrist. There's two ball joints in the waist, so it can go up and down like that. And both legs have a double jointed knee, and I like how they hid the knee joint. Usually it's pretty ugly in a lot of Arts Kai figures, but with this one, it's hidden by the pants, so it's pretty decent looking and not hideous like a lot of other Arts Kai figures. There's a cut on both legs, so a die swivel, and both legs can go out so you get a nice 180 if you're not a human. And finally, the foot can go up and down, and you get a nice hinge on its toe, so you can get a lot of great posing. Now, the only real accessory that this comes with is the Buster Sword, but man, what a Buster Sword. This figure has no problem at all holding it with one hand, so you get the classic finishing pose when the fanfare plays. But it wouldn't be as iconic without Cloud holding it with both hands, and he holds them with no problem. Finally, you get this last adapter piece that you get for his back. what you do is that design on the back, you actually can pull it out and replace it with that piece. So you can hook up the Buster Sword to the back of Cloud's back. And it also makes walking around with the Buster Sword a lot easy. And see, now he can walk with the Buster Sword and he can pull it out whenever he needs to. For some comparisons, we have Cloud next to Noctis. And I would say they're both about 10 inches tall. And you get Advent Children Cloud, which I thought this figure was great. This Cloud makes Advent Children Cloud's hair look like a wig. But it's definitely, both are good, but I would say that new Cloud is a definite improvement. This figure definitely alleviates a lot of anticipation for VII Remake and gives me what I always wanted as a figure collector. A modern take on the classic design of Cloud Strife without going too Dissidia-like. But I would say this figure is really good. Though the price is a little bit of a hindrance for some. I paid $140 for this, and I keep saying, I love Arts Kai, but their figure prices are getting ridiculous at this point. It's getting harder and harder to justify buying Arts Kai figures. My only gripe about Cloud Strife Remake is that there's a bit of an inconsistency with the Buster Sword. One half is clean and beautiful, the other half is supposed to show wear and tear, which I'm fine with either way. It's just, it feels so half-assed. One side is clean, the other side is busted, and it's just, there was more quality control into it, and that it was either fully clean or fully busted like a new trailer. I'm fine with either way, but it just feels very half-assed. Otherwise, I will say this is the definitive Cloud Strife figure unless Arts Kai can top itself in the future. But in the meantime, this is a great figure, and I advise anyone who's a big Final Fantasy VII fan, or someone who's tired of watching the same trailer over and over again, get this figure. It'll definitely help you get that remake itch off your back. This is 101 R. Smith, and I will see you later. Peace.
I am the one who guides you forever. If it's despair you want, then I shall provide.
What I want most, I'll find myself.
You're nothing but a puppet.